Guys, I'm Sabrina, and today I'm going to be sharing my list for my favorite books of 2019. I have so far at this point have only read 30 books, hoping for it to turn into 31 before 2020 comes along, but no high hopes for me. Within those 30 books, I only really liked 7 of them, and so there's one that's a series, but I count it as one story because obviously. So I'm just going to be sharing that with you guys, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So the first one I have is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I was really surprised at how much I liked this book. I was on a BBC's Sherlock marathon, and I just figured it was the right time to pick this up, and I definitely enjoyed it. If you don't know what this book is about if Sherlock Holmes and John Watson were actual real life people, and these are their descendants. Our main characters are Charlotte Holmes and Jamie Watson. They attend this high school, and when one of their classmates is murdered, they are accused of being the murderers, and it's kind of set up to be a Sherlock Holmes investigation-ish kind of thing, and Jamie and Charlotte are having to investigate this by themselves so as not to be accused. I really like it because what I was expecting was that the story would drag on in the beginning, and then towards the middle is when we would pick up, and that's when the murder happens. But no, it's like pretty much in the beginning when someone dies and the whole mystery and investigation starts, and I really liked the fast pace of that. I love the characters. There are characters that a lot of people already know, but then this new set of Holmes and Watson just brings a fresh new take on the characters, but they're still very deeply rooted into their origins. The next book is a more recent read for me, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I was really surprised at how much I liked this book. I started this book earlier this year, but then I kind of DNF'd it around the 70-page mark. It just didn't feel like the right time to read it, and I figured, if I just let it sit there and let my thoughts mature a little bit, and then I can pick this up. My brain has not matured, but I figured it was the right time to pick it up because it's the end of the year and I want to finish this book that I did not finish in the beginning of the year. I really loved it. It's so special and it's so dang adorable and touching. It's hard to explain why this is such a good book, but it just is. The writing is, I find it's very simple, but it's still really beautiful. For me, it might be different for people. I found that a lot of characters in this book are so lovable. They're very flawed, but they're so lovable. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl named Frances who is obsessed with this podcast called University. She's very focused on her schoolwork, and that's basically all she's kind of focused on. She finds out that her neighbor Alid Last is the creator of the podcast, and Alid is a very quiet person. He doesn't want to let anyone know that he's the creator of University, and so together they bond through this thing, and then Alid's identity is revealed, and that kind of bridges a gap in their friendship, and it's up to Frances to really hold on to that friendship because she just doesn't want to lose it. And this is not a spoiler, it's in the back of the synopsis. So the next book that was a favorite of mine this year was none other than Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This was one of my most anticipated reads of 2019. It did not disappoint. My emotions during this book was a roller coaster. I felt even in more love with characters I already knew, like Ronan, it's hard to get the feelings out, as to why things are your favorite things, just because they just are. But I'm gonna try. So a lot of the spin-offs I read this year have not been that great. So I did not have a lot of high hopes for this book. I know that's like really bad for me to say, but you know what? You just can't expect too much. And I was really blown away by how great this was. We already know a few of the characters, and yet they're still growing in this book. Their characters are still deeply rooted into how they were presented to us, but then we're peeling back all the layers. They're like onions. We're peeling back all their layers and we're still like getting to know them, and they're changing, and we're seeing that, and it's so beautiful. And also like the romances in here, it was so beautiful. Oh my god. I love how this book didn't feel like a whole setup for future things. Like nothing happened in this book. No, things happened in this book, and I'm really happy about that. I'm excited for the next books. If you don't know what this book is about, it is a spin-off series. I don't even know if I should call it that. But anyways, it's a spin-off series centering around Ronan Lynch, and he's a dreamer, basically meaning he can take things out of his dreams, and with that he finds complications in living his life normally, and he goes to seek out people who are like him, but then he realizes that other people are not like him. There's other characters like Jordan, who is a thief, she's a forger, and there's also Carmen, who is a hunter of some sorts. I really loved it, so you should read it. The next book that again was a really big shocker for me was I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I loved this book with all my heart. I have a weird relationship with this book. I began reading it in 2016, but then I DNF'd it because it just didn't seem like something I would read. But for some odd reason, I decided to buy the book again. And this summer, I decided, why not pick it up? And it's honestly a big favorite of mine. I just love all the relationships, platonic, family, and romance relationships. They were perfect. I love Jude so much. She's such a great character, and I relate to her so much. Noah, on the other hand, I had like mixed feelings about him, but overall, I really, really do love him, and I would die for him. So it's a great story about siblings falling apart but then coming back together and understanding each other like so much more. It's told in a two character kind of ish thing. Basically, they're told in past and present, and then the past it's Noah speaking, and in the future it's Jude speaking, and we kind of see throughout the book, like in the past, their relationship falling apart, and in the present, them coming together and understanding each other again. I think that's basically what it is. I'm probably not describing these plots very well, but just bear with me. I'm trying to bear with myself right now. The next book that was a big favorite of mine is The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I was not surprised that I liked this. It was a reread for me this year. I read it, I think last year, and I loved it. I read it again. It's immaculate, except for one character who I would really love to punch. You probably know who they are. I just really, really love this book, and I think it's mostly because of our main character, Alex Kraft. She's just such an intense and genuine character, and I love her so, so much. There's not really much to the plot, I feel, in my opinion, but just the way the story is crafted and like the emotions that are felt or described is so great. This book left me crying my eyes out. I was so sad, and I just think that, oh my god, my earring fell out. This is such it's hard to express why it's so good. I think it's just mostly because of Alex Crouch. Also, the other main character, PK, I've grown to have an appreciation for her. I really, really love her as a character, and I can find similarities in her with myself, if that makes sense. This book has a huge trigger warning for a lot of things. Just to note them: animal abuse, sexual assault, rape, violence, heavy, gruesome violence, molestation, alcohol and drug use. That's all I can think of at the top of my head, but those are the trigger warnings, so read it at your own accord. If you don't know what this book is about, this book centers around our three main characters, Alex, PK, and Jack, as they're going through their senior year in their small hometown. Alex is still coping with the death of her sister, and she's also fighting this internal urge inside of her that's very not good for others around her. And she becomes friends with all these people, and she's still fighting the urge to not do what she does. So, I guess that's basically the premise of this book. I don't know if you would describe it. I don't know. Look up the synopsis on Goodreads. That's where you'll find everything. I'm horrible at this. The second to the last book that was a true favorite of mine is Omni, Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. I love this book so much. Oh my god. It is just a gem. Just like, it's so hard to explain why I love this book. It's a story within a story, and just the way the stories kind of come together. Because in the beginning, you're confused. Like, I was confused for the life of me. But then once you hit a certain point, you start realizing that everything kind of clicks together, and you're like finding, like, weaving like all the stories and the words together, and it's so beautiful, and it's so heart-wrenching and tragic. The ending is so sad, but it's also very hopeful, you know? Oh, I love it. I love the characters. Jonah Griggs, I love him. I love him so much. I love Taylor Markham. She's such a strong and emotional character, and I love her. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain why I like this book. I just really like it. So, yeah. It's hard to explain this book. If you don't know what this book is about a girl named Taylor Markham. This is set in Australia, and she attends Jellicoe School. Within this, like, book, there are territory wars, and so we have the cadets, the townies, and then there's the boarders, the ones who go to the Jellicoe School. We kind of see their, I don't know what you would call it, their trifle. Is that even the right word? But basically, Taylor is still trying to find herself in being the leader of the boarders while she's struggling with her past. There's this woman who Taylor has found to be a parental figure who has gone missing, and so without her, Taylor is kind of lost in her leadership role. It's hard to explain. You have to read the synopsis. I'm sorry. It's hard to explain. Anyways, I love this book. You should read it. I love it. It's so sad. It causes you so much pain, but it's good pain. And then the last book, or books, or stories, or series is the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater. I love this book series so much. It is my heart and soul and my everything. I love these characters so much. So, this is my all-time favorite series. There's just so much to it that I can't express how much I love this series so much. I guess I don't know, this series is just so special. It's so well crafted. I love it. It's sad. It's funny. It's dark. It's everything you can ever imagine.
totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender, shit on it.
There's a slow burn romance in here that's amazing. There's familial relationships that are amazing. There's platonic relationships that are amazing, and I love it. This found family trope that I just love so, so much. There's like nothing in particular like where like this is why it's my favorite. It's just like all these little things that come together and make me love it so, so much. It's a book series that just makes me feel so powerful and so loved, I guess you would say. It's hard to describe this whole thing. I just really, really love it. So, you know, you should read it. It's amazing. I love it. If you don't know what this book is about our main characters, Blue Sergeant and the Raven Boys. Blue Sergeant is from a family of psychics. She meets this group of boys called the Raven Boys. They go to this rich prep school. Within the Raven Boys, there is Richard Gansey, Noah Sersney, I don't know, Adam Parrish, and Ronan Lynch. And Gansey is looking for this dead Welsh king who can grant them a wish, and things kind of set off from there. Yeah, I love this book. You should definitely read it. Anyways, that is it for my favorite reads of 2019. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorites were down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.